on this computer. So, welcome everybody. Glad that you are here. Now, what we're going to go through is lower extremity, and we're going to focus on what we just talked about a little bit, but wasn't on the recording. So we're going to go through how our lower body moves, how it feels, and then notice what parts of the body feel like they don't move like the other side. And literally, that's the one that we're going to work on. So we're going to work on how one side relates to the other, how it moves, and if it feels as though it is difficulty being controlled, and or does it feel more tired than the other side when you're going through it. It should feel pain-free, ache-free when you do it. The side that we're going through, or the range of motion that we're going to pay the most attention to as we go through this exploration, will literally be the one that feels the most difficult to control. That's the one that we're looking for. It should feel like it's just tough, right? So we're going to go through this this range of motion. I'm going to bring the camera down here over towards the table so you can see how I'm doing things. I'm going to bring it pretty close up. I'm going to make sure that you guys get a good point of view. So let's get started, and then let's take this into some endurance exercise, okay? So I'm going to bring this down. And bring my table down a little bit so you guys can see everything. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do, I'm going to tilt this a little bit, is we're going to go through knee bent, and we're just going to get the trunk engaged like we normally do. We're going to work through some of our breathing stuff, our diaphragmatic breathing. We're going to go through arch to flatten, and we're going to breathe in on the arch, breathe out on the flatten. We're just going to go through this around 10 to 12 times, just to start up, to connect our torso into our legs, kind of like an anchoring mechanism, because then we have a little bit more control over what our hips are doing, right? So we're going to start out hands on belly, and from here you're going to breathe in and arch, and exhale and flatten. Breathe in and arch, 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 exhale and flatten. Now I want you to look to the left and do the same thing. Breathe in and arch, exhale and flatten. One more time, looking left. Breathe in and arch, exhale and flatten. Look to the right. Breathe in and arch, exhale and flatten. Breathe in and arch, exhale and flatten. Neck neutral. Breathe in and arch. Let the neck go where it wants to. Exhale and flatten. Breathe in and arch. And exhale and flatten. Now from here, I want you to feel the middle between your arch and your flattening. You can put your hands right on top of the hips. You can feel there's a hip bone. So here's where your thigh bone is. And here's that hip bone. We call that the ilium. And on top of that iliac crest, right here where the top of that hip bone is right below the rib cage. You're going to put your hands right in that spot. And there should be just a little space in between your ribs and that ilium or hip bone, right? So to see that from the side, hip bone, my hip bone comes pretty high. It's right here. My ribs are right here. So I'm going to put my hands right in that spot, just so you can just so you can see it, not kind of see it, so you can see it. So from here, what I'm going to do is we're going to see how one leg moves up and down compared to the other with the other foot braced. And we're just going to see how the leg moves up and down. Just explore it. Does it feel smooth? Does it feel choppy? What does it feel like? And take your time with it. Go through the range of motion that feels like it just glides. Then feel what the knee is going through as you go up and down with that leg staying a little straight. You can have a little bend in it. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight. And then pay attention to what the ankle's going through. Notice if it feels fatigued right now or if it's pretty easy. And then we're going to switch sides. One side may feel drastically different than the other. It may feel the same. Notice the knee. Notice the torso. Notice the ankle. Good. Now from here, let's go with the knees bent. I want you to slowly straighten the knee and bring it back down. Straighten the knee. And make it nice and smooth. Notice what the top of the thigh is doing. Notice what the back of the thigh feels like. You can change the position of the thigh too if you want to go lower. It'll give you a different experience. You'll feel the top of the thigh a little bit more. You can bring it even lower, and that's even more difficult on the thigh. You got to hold that leg up. It becomes a little bit more to deal with because of the distance from the hip. I'm shortening that distance to the hip right here. You can see when my leg comes up, it doesn't even get to the edge of the table. But when I'm down here, I'm almost past the edge of the table. It's a lot of distance. Work equals force times distance, right? A lot of mass to control past that distance. So if you want to shorten that distance up, you just bring it a little closer to you. Good, let's switch sides. Notice what the thigh is doing. You want to challenge it a little differently, bring it a little further out. And slide it back in. Okay, from here, we're going to do exactly the same thing, but on your side. So now we're side lying, and we're going to go through the same type of hip flexion. So I'm going to brace my body we're going to see how the leg moves forward and back. Forward and back. So it's exactly what we did on your back. Just now, we're doing them on your side. The bottom knee is bent. Top leg's going forward and back. Is that tough? Is it easy? What are you feeling? This one's a little more difficult. Now I'm bending my knee a little bit more on this one instead of keeping it straight. You want a little different challenge? Try the knee straight. This is about as far as I can go at the hip with that leg straight. We're going to see if there's a difference in this one from right to left. I think we found one that's tough, right? We're going to show you exactly what we're going to do with it in a little bit. Okay, let's switch sides on this one. So I'm just going to switch up my positioning so you can see me. Now the top leg. A lot different, right? A lot more range, a lot easier. Wants to move forward and back easy, which is interesting because this one gets more fatigued. So I'm just keeping note of how it feels comparatively to the other one. And just because my leg's not moving or is moving differently, now there's a lot of pieces to the human body and a lot of pieces to the system. So how it's controlled can come from just about anywhere in the system, not necessarily our hips. Okay, now here comes the difficult part. We're doing the same thing. I'm going to put one hand behind. I'm going to take this leg, I'm going to anchor myself, and I'm slowly going to move my bottom leg forward and back. If you have trouble doing this, you can take your mat and fold it on itself to give it a little more cushion, especially if you're on the floor. Cushion that hip a little bit more, and worry only about slowly moving it forward and back rather than really quickly moving it. Just feel comfortable sliding it forward and back. This is a completely different range of motion feeling for me when I could barely move my leg forward before. Maybe two more. Let's take that to the other side. Bottom leg. Yep. Just want to put it in front. I can't go anywhere. Bottom leg, forward and back. Which one's easier to control? Sense which one's a little more difficult. Make sure that you're focusing in on the one that feels difficult without any pain. Now, do the same thing. This is going to be a little inventive, right? We're going to, without a table, we're going to need to be on all fours. Same idea, but now we're lowering down and up. So you're noticing that literally, if I were to raise this up, it'd look like this. Get all this extra distance, right? So if you have a couch, you can do this on a couch or a chair. If you don't, I just recommend bringing it in and pushing it out. Bringing it in, pushing it out. It's really simple. Just feel how that hip wants to move.
how it wants to go forward. But notice as I go forward, I keep myself from rounding. I'm just staying in neutral for my torso, and that's why the grip of my hands becomes important for this one, which can be a limiting factor as well. If your hands have difficulty with this one, or you have trouble kneeling, this can be a difficult one. So you want some cushion for that opposite knee. And slowly back, slowly forward. If you're on the sofa and you want to be near the side, you literally let it come down and up, down and up. Lowering, controlled lowering from the hip. Now I'll take that to the other side. Start out, you're on a sofa, we're bringing it through with the back flat. Oh, this one's a little limited. As soon as I get here, my whole torso wants to turn. So I have trouble bringing this one down compared to the other one. Awesome. Cool. Now, since we've gone through both of those, and if you haven't, we can always go back to those in a little bit. I'm going to do the same thing in a seated position. So now I'm sitting in a chair, or I can sit on the ground. Literally, if I'm on the ground, I'm just going to be leaning back, or you can go on your elbows, right? And now it's just a different level of hip positioning. If you want to challenge yourself a little more, you can sit up a little higher. So just changing your relationship to gravity, right? Because before we were here, now my head is coming up a little bit, so I'm at this angle here, this kind of 45-degree angle. I'm a little lower than 45 degrees when I'm here. When my head comes up, I'm right around that 45-degree angle with my head, but not my hip. So from here, I'm just seeing hip control. And all these are the same routes of the hip, right? We're just looking at this. If there was a window pane that went right down the center of your leg, right through your hip, that's what we're looking at right now. And now the other leg. On this one, I also like to see what my hips are doing. So I like to watch what's going on. Sometimes my hip will literally spin and I have less control. Cool. Now we're going to take this one to standing up. So you can find a wall. I'm going to use my bench here, my table, to support me. And this is the last of this range of motion that we're going to do. Well, I'm just going to have you fixate on the hip. I'm going to hold on to something. You can hold on to the wall if you want to. But literally just raising up. Raising up. And again, do they look the same? Is it more difficult? What's going on with the hip? And switch sides. Okay, now, when we stated before, what ranges of motion did you notice felt as though it was difficult and yet felt okay, felt it was fine, right? So I want you to really dig deep into, was it on your side? Was it on your back? Was it on your stomach? Was it standing or was it seated that you felt the best? But it was difficult to do. So for me, it was actually on my side with my right leg going front to back. So I'm going to challenge myself to do that. So I just want one position, right? I want you to choose the position that you feel is going to make the biggest impact. And you choosing that is the biggest deal. So the awareness of what position was the toughest is what we're going to challenge. And this is exactly how we're going to challenge it, okay? So I'm going to get on my side, and you're going to choose the position that works for you. So as I do this, now from here, I'm going to focus on how my leg is moving forward and back. I'm just going to go slowly until it starts feeling tight. I'm controlling my range, making sure the torso feels okay. As I'm going through flexion and extension of the hip, this kind of anterior to posterior motion through this frontal plane. See how everything's moving. I'm going to try it with the leg a little straighter to see if that makes a difference. It does. I'm going to relax my ankle so I can focus on my knee. I had it up and stuck. Let my ankle relax. See if that made a difference. It did a lot. Relaxed ankle. It still is tough to control, but I'm getting a little better. Now I'm a little fatigued, so I'm going to relax it, right? If you're still going, that's okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to keep going until you feel a little fatigued. When you do this, now we're going to switch sides, and I want you to see if the fatigue was the same on the other side as it was with the beginning side, just to have some frame of reference of what one side can do compared to the other. So we're going to switch sides. I'm going to move into flexion and extension. My axis right now is right here, right? So if I drill a hole straight through my hip, this is what I'd be spinning around, and I'm moving through this plane here. This side feels ridiculously easier. And I'm starting to fatigue a little bit. Making sure that my torso doesn't rotate. I'm focusing on the top leg. I'm going to straighten my knee a little bit more. That's getting a little tougher. Go through another 3. Feel a little burn and fatigue in that hip and thigh. And then I'm relaxing. Okay, now that's the first part of it. The second part will be what we call the isometric. So you can find a wall, you can find an anchored piece of furniture, right? Anything like this. And now I'm going to adjust myself to that piece of furniture, and I'm going to show you how I push against it at different angles. So what I'm going to do is now, because the first one was this top leg, right? I'm going to push this down a little bit so you can see it. And I'm going to get to the opposite side of this so you can see it a little bit better. So now, my top leg literally, my top leg will push into the furniture. So it's going to go straight into the furniture. Better see it like this. Furniture. Easier to see. Piece of furniture. Because it was my top leg, I'm going to push my leg forward into the piece of furniture and let it relax. Push it forward and relax. So literally, I'd be pushing forward into the piece of furniture. The furniture was right here. Nice and easy, gradually push into that piece of furniture and let it relax, right? So if I'm sitting up and doing that, my foot goes underneath the furniture and I'm trying to push up into that piece of furniture and then I relax. If I am standing, piece of furniture is in front of me, I'm literally going to push into that piece of furniture, barely moving forward, lightly push to start, and then relax. If I'm on all fours, this one's a little bit easier because literally I can push directly into the ground. That's a really simple one. I'm literally pushing this foot into the ground, right? So each one of these is literally you're on your side, you're on your back, you're on your stomach, or on hands and knees, stomach facing down, or if you're facing up, you just get underneath something. So this is me underneath something, right? Pushing up. Just find a chair that's got a little bit of a recess that I can put my foot under. So I'm going to choose the one, again, that I was having problems with. So the one I was having problems with was pushing forward. So you get to see it on my backside on this one. Push that leg forward and relax. Push it forward and relax. Push it forward, relax. Push it forward. Now I want you to push it a little harder. And relax. Again, push forward. And relax, good. Push it forward. And relax. Now I want you to ramp it up to pretty much everything that you got and try to sustain it for as long as you can. Build it up, build up that force, push harder and harder and harder and harder. Keep going, go as long as you can with as much force as you can to build it up. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going, and then let it relax. So as we're doing that, that should just be a challenge of that position. Now we're going to see how that relates to the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch my sides, and I'm going to use this top leg to then push to see how that leg relates going forward. Now, there's two ways of thought on this. Because of us being in one position, right? If I'm doing that while I'm seated, I'm still facing this way. You can choose whether I'm going to go side lying left leg, side lying right leg facing the same way, or do I want it to be the top leg that goes forward? But that means that I'm in a completely different position related to what my head is dealing with. Is gravity coming down this way, or is gravity coming down that way? So it's a choice, right? And it's both ways are right. Just notice which one impacts you more, okay? So I'm going to choose staying on the same side, but then using my bottom leg to push into the furniture. So as I'm doing that, one leg's behind, and I'm going to push into that piece of furniture, lightly to start, and then relax it. And again, lightly to start, and relax it. Now I'm going to build it up more, push a little harder, and relax it. And push harder, and relax it. Now push really hard. Start slow and ramp it up. Push harder, push harder, push more, push more, push more, push more. And let it relax. And this time, I want you to push gradually as hard as you can and sustain it as long as you can. Okay, here we go. Gradually build it up. Push harder. Push harder. More. Keep it going. Keep it going. Push harder. Keep it going. Now relax. So that is a little bit different when it comes down to the quality of one side compared to the other. And as you're going through this, we're going to go through it one more time to see how the first one recovered. So now I want to see how that first leg that was moving, okay, but still the other side moved better. I want to see if they start equaling out a little bit. So, and we're going to try a couple different strategies to help that happen, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to push that first leg back into that isometric, into the chair or into the object. And we're going to see if we can repeat what we did before, or does it completely drop off? So we're right around 1.5 minutes rest right now. So I want that to get around 2 minutes. So when we start this, we should be pretty recovered from what we did before. Because believe it or not, we were doing a max effort, right? We're doing everything you had into that chair, which is it's a pretty big effort when you think about it. It's a maximal effort. We just recruited maximally into that chair. And I want you to be able to repeat that. I want you to gradually, we're going to build that up so you can push lightly to then ramp up to as high of a level of contraction as you can get, right? And that's what we're looking for. And that's why this is a little bit different. So let's, I can't wait to hear your feedback on these sets, okay? So let's try that one more time. We're gonna see if we can repeat it. Okay, so gradually bring that leg into the immovable object and begin to shove. And then relax. And again. And relax. And again. Shove a little harder. Take it to about 70%. And relax. And again. Take it about 80%. And relax. Take it to about 90%. Now relax. Now we're going to go with pretty much everything that you got. Slowly ramp it up to everything that you got. Push it forward and ramp it. Ramp it. Harder. You push it. Keep it going. Keep it going. Push. Keep it coming. And relax. Nice. Nice. We're going to see how those hips are going to move. But we're going to do this on the opposite leg now. We're going to see if it was the same, if it was worse, or if it was better, right? So we're going to see if the opposite side got a little bit better too, right? Or did it drop off a little bit? We're just becoming aware of those things. Because right now, my right hip's feeling pretty darn good, which is pretty cool. So a little stiff before. So let's take that to the opposite leg. I'm going to push that foot forward into the chair. I'm going to get it more comfortable. Pushing into the chair. And let it relax. I'm going to make it even more comfortable. I know I cheat. I got all these pads and stuff, right? It's not fair. So, and again, push. And relax. And push. And relax. And push. And relax. And push. And relax. This one is going to be with pretty much everything you got. Knees straight, slowly push. Ramp it up. Ramp it up. I want you to go until you feel fatigued. Go until you can't. Go until it feels like you lose control of your ability to shove, and the ability to shove drops off dramatically. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. And that's cashed. Really cool. Now, for play, see how well your legs move. They should feel pretty smooth. All right. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to change the position of this. Get my chair out of here. You see how my legs move as I'm standing up. And it feels a lot smoother. Like how you guys are exploring when you're on your back, raising up. If you're holding on to something, raising the leg up. You're on all fours. How well does it move? Yeah, remember that bent knee, or if you're on the side of a couch, you can try the straight leg, controlling down. right? Or you can do it flat if you're on the side of the couch. Controlling it down. Another option. That's feeling pretty symmetrical. Okay. Now, if you have a chair, or if you don't, that's okay too. It's okay too. We're just going to do some chair squats, and we're going to use it. So we're going to use this to then hover. And what I mean by a hover is I want you to feel like we're going to start a little closer, and we're going to slowly feel like we're sitting into the chair, but I'm barely touching. I barely touch. So from the side, you can see it again from the side. When I come down, I'm barely touching. My back is still pretty flat. Just barely. I can put hand underneath my bottom. If you want, you can have the hands up or forward. I like my hands just relaxed. And I'm going to show you that again from the front. Right here. I want to feel the backs of my thighs and the tops of my thighs, so it's working tops and bottoms. If my chest is up, it's going to be really tough. If my chest is forward, it's going to be easier, right? So that chest forward position, so my chest is pretty much, or my arms are in alignment with my knees in my posture. If you have a longer limb right here, that may be difficult, right? So I'm feeling this, and I want to feel this. To feel the back of my legs, it's literally because I'm touching, lightly touching my surface. Okay, and I want you to feel those feet, and I want you to come up halfway, and then right back down. Come up halfway, right back down. Come up halfway, right back down and fold. Come up halfway, right back down. 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 Come up halfway and hold. Hold right there and feel those legs really, really working. Slowly back down and relax. With the hands right on your side, slowly straighten your left leg and hold it there. Keep it straight. Toes up, toes down, keeping that leg straight. Toes up, toes down, toes up, toes down, toes up, toes down, and toes up, and relax. Now we're trying the other side. Straighten, really feel this thigh working. Feel the thigh working, the top of the leg working. Notice what's happening on this side of the body and the torso. Just because this is working, be aware of all the other stuff that may be talking to you, right? Is the lower back talking to you? The shoulders talking to you? Or is the neck talking to you? Being aware of that information. Toes up, toes down. Keep that knee nice and straight. Toes up, toes down. Toes up, toes down. And toes up, toes down, toes up, toes down, and toes up, and relax. We're right back in a position where we started. Come up all the way,
Toes pointed out just slightly. And now from here, again, you can have your hands across the chest. I like to have them right by my side. Slowly coming down, like I'm going to sit into the chair. Chest forward slightly. Feel my ankles. Make sure my ankles want to fold rather than go to the ball of the foot. I want to feel my feet planted on the ground. Root the heels. Come up halfway through the whole foot rather than just the heel or the ball of the foot. And then right back down. Barely touch. Equal participation on both feet. Feel both feet into the ground as you slowly come up halfway. And then slowly lower yourself back. And slowly up halfway. Slowly lower yourself. And up halfway. Slowly lower yourself. Barely touch. Holding that position. And up halfway. And slowly back down. Up halfway. Keep that hold. Make sure those feet feel balanced. Keep that hold. Barely touch. Keep that hold. And then relax. One more time with the leg extensions. You're doing a great job. Straighten the left leg. Keep that participation on the whole quad. Feel the quad working. You're just holding it there, observing it. Making sure that all of this is all tied in together. It feels strong, it feels capable. And then again, taking your brain and doing an assessment, kind of an inventory of what's happening at the ankle, the knee, the hip, the other hip, the other knee, and the other foot. And then trace that back up towards your back and your shoulders and your spine. Now foot is going to move down, foot's moving up, toes and foot down, toes and foot up, toes and foot down, toes and foot up, toes and foot down, toes and foot up. Two more. Toes and foot down, toes and foot up, toes and foot down, and toes and foot up. Good. Try the other side. Straighten the right knee. We got a good little shake going on right now. It's tougher to control than this side, which is funny because this was the knee that got bent backwards. Brandon makes fun of me all the time for telling people that. Oh, yeah, is that the knee that bent backwards? Yes. All right, so now I notice that my torso wants to shift when I do this. So this one felt straight. This one, my torso felt like I wanted to go lateral. I'm just paying attention to what I feel. This one's tough, especially on the outside of this thigh. So I'm just going to give it a little more attention and let it ease up a little bit instead of trying to force it so much. I'm just going to ease up on this one as I play around with, oh, really shaking on this side, right? Finding the position where I'm having trouble controlling it. I'm just going to play with it where I lack control and see if it gets a little better or if it just fatigues out. I'm going to respect both of those. If it fatigues out, I'm just going to stop. And that's totally okay. But I'm going to make sure that I'm aware of how long I can even go, right? Maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them, right? Higher quality. Straightening it's even easier than going halfway. If I'm here, I'm shaking more than if I'm straight. Little pieces of awareness become pretty powerful. 2 more. And back down. All right. I hope you enjoyed this little change of pace today. Let me get a little closer. It's a really different change of pace. Another one of those choose your own adventures. We went for a full about 50 minutes of work. And I want to say that I hope it was enjoyable for you as it was for me sharing it with you. It's a little bit of a different path that I'm going to be giving you guys some different tools that I find to be the most effective way to do this self-assessment of how things are working now, and then how things have changed directly when we're finished. So keep playing with this stuff. Watch the replay, dive in again so that you have some questions for me, because I love your feedback on all of this. So enjoy it, and I'll catch you guys soon. So stay on. Give me a sec.